So, you're probably wondering if Black Ops 6 is any good, or if it's any different from any other year. The short answer is that this game is really fun, but very familiar. If you've played COD in the last 5 years, then you already have a good idea of how Black Ops 6 is overall. But this year, there's a lot of small, but amazing improvements. First off, Omni Movement, the big selling point of this game. If you saw COD Next, you know that the commentators were talking about Omni Movement basically the whole time. So is it any good? Well, Omni Movement, in my opinion, is a great improvement for the game, but I definitely think it was overhyped, because most of the time you won't be using it. It is awesome that you can sprint in any direction and dive and slide in any direction too, but the way they showed it off made it look like you'd be diving in the air and then 360 no-scoping enemies in all the possible directions. This is possible, yet unpractical. Truthfully, the way most people play COD means that you're either sprinting or aiming down sights. Anytime you dive, you're really just messing up your own aim and giving the enemy an opportunity to track you in the air. However, diving backwards down a flight of stairs while still aiming forward has saved my life, so Omni Movement is definitely an improvement to the game. It just depends on how you use it. I don't think that players are going to use it as often as they think because you're likely just to get yourself killed trying to pull off any big stunt. Actually, the prone 360 rotation was the biggest help of the new system. Normally going prone really helps you avoid fire and kill anyone within a 180-degree radius in front of you, but it's really easy to get killed from behind because when someone comes up behind you, there's no way to turn around. However, now it's really easy to check your flank. Overall, the movement in this game is really good and the Omni sprinting system is nice too. And, of course, sliding around corners is still super helpful. Omni movement might be the only new thing in this game. Everything else that's new seems like a variation of what's already been done, kind of like the perk system. Perks are pretty simple actually. You can have 3 at once at a time per loadout. Each perk gives you a small boost in some way. The red perks are all pretty aggressive and incentivize being offensive. The blue perks are also kind of a run and gun style, but with more of a recon build where you use information to your advantage, like minimap bonuses and seeing some items through walls. Lastly, the green perks are the tactical perks. They encourage a more defensive playstyle. The cool part is that if you equip 3 of the same color perk, then you'll get a 4th bonus perk that is coordinated with that color. And you'll see on screen the 3 bonus perks. There's one for each color. So it's usually pretty good to try and coordinate the perks together and then play in that particular style, but it's also completely fine just to pick 3 perks that you think are the best overall and ignore the colors because ultimately the perks don't matter if you don't play in the way that they would help you. Also in the loadout section, you have your gunsmith. For previous games, I understand that most players prefer the old pick 10 system over the gunsmith because it's just overcomplicated. And this year, it's a little better. There's a lot of options still, so you might get overwhelmed. I did notice though that it seems that there's more of a focus that each gun attachment helps you straight up rather than trading off one good thing at the expense of another, which makes it a lot easier to pick attachments. Otherwise, there's really nothing new here. I'll mention that the game looks and runs great for me. Graphics are good, but don't sacrifice color for realism. There are currently only 3 maps playable. I imagine they'll rotate through these as the beta continues, but of the 3 maps, 2 of them are not only really fun to play because of their good layout, but they have really good coloring, which I love, because if these same maps were in a Modern Warfare game, they would just be so drab. These maps are Skyline and Derelict. They're smaller maps, so you don't have to wait long before finding someone to shoot. Every map so far has really good vantage points to hold because they're easy to see most of the map, but you can also back out easily if you're seen. This helps with the flow of the game because it gives you something to push towards, where sometimes your team has the better area and you're trying to hold it, and sometimes you're trying to steal it. The back and forth of securing the more optimal map positions is really fun and adds strategy to what is otherwise a point and shoot game. The third map, Scud, is also pretty good, but it's bigger, which means waiting longer for a fight, which I don't mind. I like the occasional match that is more strategic rather than run and gun, but this map has a lot of dead space which makes it hard to traverse. If you like fast-paced gameplay, you might not like this map, but it's pretty good for sniping and has some fun choke points. Plus, this is the one map that is purposely devoid of color, making this map all around an Uno reverse of all the other maps you'll play. So, while it's my least favorite so far, I still like it, and I like how it changes the flow of playing multiple matches in a row, getting one map that's different from all the others. Obviously, this is just a beta, so other maps and modes will still come. But as far as gameplay goes, I think Black Ops 6 is one of the better COD games. But at the end of the day, it's very similar to the previous games, so whether or not you should buy it comes down to the actual content the game will have at launch and whether or not you like COD games. So I can't tell you to buy this game, and I don't recommend pre-ordering the game, but that's more because I don't think pre-ordering in general is a good practice in the gaming industry. That's not me saying that this particular pre-order is going to be bad. All I can do is review what I've played, and so I'm going to give this game a 9 out of 10. That may seem high, but I'm judging the game based off its own merits and not over the franchise as a whole. So if you're thinking, wow, this guy really just gave Black Ops a 9 out of 10 when it's just a copy and paste of the last 17 games, just understand that I'm not saying that this game is original by any means. It's definitely the same thing you've already played if you've played Call of Duty in the past. I'm not trying to trick you into buying something. If you're tired of the Call of Duty formula, then this game isn't for you. This game won't magically make you love COD again. What I'm saying is that the fun factor for this game for me was really high. Just because I give this game a really good score doesn't mean I'm saying it's a must play. It just means that when I rank a game, I'm trying not to rank it in comparison to other games. So when it comes to Black Ops 6, I can't say that it has really deep mechanics or that it's a once in a decade game that everyone needs to play. I just simply mean that the game is really fun and did not have any game breaking issues. In fact, I personally haven't had any small bugs either. So whether or not this game is for you obviously depends on the types of games you like to play and whether or not you've gotten bored of the formula yet. Also, this is not a review of the final product, this is just a review of the beta. I'm saying that I like the core mechanics, I like the movement, and I like the 3 maps we've tried so far. When the actual game comes out, I'm going to give it a new ranking, and we'll see how it goes from there. That is my day 1 review of the beta. Have you joined the early access yet, or are you waiting for the open beta? Let me know what your opinions are if you've played it or what you're excited to see when you do. I'm open to hear all of your opinions on the game, both good and bad. Just don't get mad at other people for having different opinions. I'll see you in the comments.